Hi, today I'm going to show you how for loops work. So I'm going to create a new program and let's just call it test a for loop, right? And I've got a shortcut here that allows me to remove the comments. I've made it Alt F8. You could try and do that. It's very useful when you start a new program. And I'm just going to put a blank line here. I'm going to put for. A for loop is something that repeats. So I go for space, I put a bracket. I'm going to say int I equals 1. And then I'm going to say I less than or equal to 3. I'm just putting lots of spaces to make it very clear for you. You don't have to have all the space. Remember that Java ignores white space. Okay. And then over there, I'm just going to say system.out.println. Remember, there is a shortcut, SOUT, and you press the tab key, you get a system.out.println. I'm going to say, please tidy your room. This is a program for a mother who's tired of telling her child, tidy their room. So it's going to tell the child 3 times to tidy their room. Let's look at how the for loop works. I'm going to run it quickly for you here, and you will see that it prints, please tidy your room 3 times, even though over here we only have 1 print statement. And the secret is in the first line, and that is called a for loop. So let's look at exactly what the for loop includes. I've made a little PowerPoint for you here. So if we go here, I've typed out my for loop again for you here. So we've got the word FOR. We don't say for loop, we just say FOR and put a space and a bracket. That is called a for loop, but we don't have the word for loop in there. We just have FOR. So the details in between the brackets tell us exactly how this loop is going to operate. Okay, so the first part is int I equals 1. We call that the initializing phase. We're declaring a little integer. Usually we make it I, and we're making it equal to 1. So we're initializing a variable inside the loop that will be I, and it will start at 1. The next thing that would operate would be this last part in the brackets. It's called I++. That is when we increment I. So I will go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, actually. The middle part of the loop is actually the testing part. And as long as this test works out to true, the loop will keep operating and running again and again. Okay, so what's going to happen when this loop starts? We're going to go int I equals 1, and we will do the test. Is I less than or equal to 3? Well, it is, because 1 is less than 3. So then it's going to run the part that is between the 2 curly brackets. So it will print, please tidy your room, once. Let's look at the output. This is what will happen. So it will, the CPU gets to the bottom, this curly bracket at the bottom, and it knows that this is a loop. So it's going to go back to the top and it will increment I. So I will go from 1 to 2, I++. It will then run the test again. Is I less than or equal to 3? 2 is less than 3, so that will be true. So it will print, please tidy your room again. It then reaches the bottom of the for loop, the curly bracket. It goes back to the top. And it does the increment again, I++. So I goes from 2 to 3. Is 3 less than or equal to 3? Yes, it is. That's true. So we will run what's inside the curly brackets again. Please tidy your room gets printed a 3rd time. Now we get to the curly bracket. We go back to the top another time. We do the increment. So I becomes 4. But when we do the test, is 4 less than or equal to 3? No, it is not. It's greater. So the test works out as false. So the loop will not carry on. And if there were more lines of code under the for loop, under the curly bracket at the bottom here, those lines of code will then run. So that's how a loop operates. I'm going to go back to my program now. And let's have a little bit more fun here. So this poor mom is getting a bit desperate. This child is not listening. And she decides to put a little bit of a, maybe having a little bit of a delay between the commands would help. So we'll just put a 1 second delay. That is how you do it. Time unit dot seconds dot sleep, and in the brackets 1 for 1 second. Now there's a light bulb here. I'm going to click on it. It says add import. I'll do that. And the light bulb goes on again. It says add throws clause is one way to interrupt to handle it. It's a interrupted exception, so we need to handle it, and we put throws, and that just added that throws clause there at the top. So if we run it now, I'll leave the code here at the top, and you will see that if I run it, we get a delay between the please tidy your room. And you see there's a 1 second delay. I thought that would be quite fun, but maybe this child is still not listening. So this poor mom has to add something more to the program. So she's going to say, hold on, get default toolkit, bracket, dot beep. I looked these up on the internet, and these were commands that I found. And this is a way to make your computer beep. I hope you can hear it when I run it. So this time it's going to keep telling this child, going to beep at him, and maybe this time he will listen, okay, or she. Some girls are also very messy. So it says, please, did you hear the beep? Okay, I hope you did. So it keeps beeping at you, and it's quite an unpleasant sound. So maybe they will tidy their room this time. And if they still don't, the best way would be to make this run maybe 1,000 times. Maybe by then the child will get up and tidy their room, because this will be a loop that just carries on and on and on. It'll carry on for 1,000 seconds. And I hope this child now does do what he's been asked. Okay, and that's all for this time. I hope you try this program out and learn about for loops and play around with them. Oh, before I forget, there is a lovely shortcut for a for loop. You can just go FOR and hit the tab key. You get a ready-made for loop. You'll see it's got all the same components. The int I equals, this time it's 0 instead of 1. The semicolon, I less than 10, semicolon, I plus plus. So you can then just change this. And you can, this helps you to remember the syntax for a for loop, because I know it's something people get a little confused about sometimes. But if you see, we just changed a little bit and we got back to the initial for loop that we had. So just remember that FOR and tab. And that's all for this time. And I hope to see you soon in the next video.